Hello, this is I'm Brian Moncourt Jensen, and this is my thoughts and my mini review of Iron Man 2, which just came out this weekend. It was a good movie. I wouldn't say it's a very good movie. It's a good movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. I thought the action sequences were way better than the first one. I thought, had better editing. I felt Jon Favreau finally found his voice with Iron Man 2. In the first movie, he seemed to just kind of felt like he was being derivative of other action sequences in other movies. He didn't seem to have his own voice. In Iron Man 2, he has his voice. It's there. The action is great. The directing, how he moves the camera with the action sequences, it feels like there's a real flow. There's a real pacing. And I felt Robert Downey Jr. was great. I loved him. I thought, he didn't seem to have much of an emotional depth in this movie like he did in the first one. The first one, he really seemed to really hit home with you. In the sequel, still great, just not as great as it could have been. I liked some that the film tried to focus more on Tony Stark's personal problems in his life, like maybe some of his drinking, and how this thing that's supposed in his chest that saved him is now detrimental to his health. It's probably going to kill him. I felt also I loved the chemistry between him and Gwyneth Paltrow. I thought their chemistry was really great. I love the overlapping of dialogue. There was a lot of Robert Altman moments. In fact, the scenes of dialogue is pure Robert Altman. I felt Jon Favreau was really influenced by Robert Altman's style of having dialogue overlap each other, have the characters talk over each other while they're arguing or yelling or talking, whatever. That was pretty cool. After a while, it got kind of tedious, but it was still consistent. It felt like, okay, this is the rhythm that's going on in Iron Man 2. Here's my problems. I felt that Mickey Rourke was completely underused as a villain. I felt that he should have had more time spent on him, and his performance, while it was good, it was a little bit too emotional at times. I thought he was taking things way too seriously, and I felt he just wasn't. He didn't have a fleshed out character. He wasn't written well. Don Cheadle was kind of underused, even though I felt he was better than Terrence Howard. He was underused. Gwyneth Paltrow was underused. Scarlett Johansson. Gwyneth Paltrow wasn't just overused. She seemed to just kind of she's just really one-dimensional in the movie. Same with Scarlett Johansson. I think her whole point in the film was just to look very sexy and hot, and she succeeded in that. But I wanted an actual female character with real personality, and Jon Favreau just wasn't able to give that to her. And she wasn't able to, and she didn't do anything really with the role except just have one look on her face, which was just a sexy look, serious look, intense look, whatever. She didn't do much of anything. I felt that some of the writing was probably a little bit flimsy. There was something really weird about the plot. I can't really spot any continuity error or plot holes, but the writing was just a bit. There are probably some things that are a bit overly complicated. Like again with the thing where with Robert Downey Jr.'s this mechanism, this machine that's supposed to. This device that saved his life is now, basically going to kill him, and he has to make something else, to give him more energy. That's some technology that his dad created a long time ago that he had to discover. And I just felt that was all pretty boring after a while. I felt the story, the plot just wasn't engaging. It was just kind of kept me at a distance. I wouldn't say emotionally cold, it was just distant. And the drunk scene, with Tony Stark drunk and, showing us how he goes to the bathroom in that suit and having a drunken fight with his friend when his friend puts on the machine. That whole scene felt completely out of place and stupid. It wasn't as bad as the jazz sequence in Spider-Man 3, but it was bad. It didn't feel like it was a part of the narrative. It didn't feel like it had a real tone. It ruined the rhythm in the movie. The movie has some type of rhythm, and that scene came up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so terrible. This is such a corny scene. It was just a really badly written scene. It was really unnecessary. It should have been rewritten, probably redirected, something. I don't know. I did like the tidbits though. I love seeing Captain America's shield, and I love seeing Thor's hammer at the very end of Iron Man 2 after the credits and everything. There's a scene after the end of the movie where you get to see Thor's hammer. So I thought that was really great. I'm a huge Captain America fan. I love Captain America out of all these heroes, and so I'm looking forward to the Captain America movie. I'm looking forward to the Thor movie and seeing how all this is connected and seeing how it all goes to the Avengers movie. And I hope there's going to be a Hulk sequel somewhere in all of this, but the Incredible Hulk didn't make a lot of money at the box office, so I don't see that really happening. overall, Iron Man 2, it's going to be a hit, and it's a worthy hit. I just don't feel it's as great as other sequels like The Dark Knight or Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't dark enough. It didn't really explore too much of Tony Stark, who is coming across as a one-dimensional billionaire bachelor who's just thinks he's the most amazing thing since, you know, whatever. And I just feel like Robert Downey Jr., as great as he is, he's not having a lot of room to show different dimensions of Tony Stark. So the film didn't break any new ground. It didn't go to... The risks weren't high. I didn't feel any fear for Tony's life. I felt like he was going to survive every single situation that he was in. There was no intensity in any of the action sequences. There was no real danger in anything that was going on in the action sequences or what the villains were doing. The villains weren't that great or charismatic. I love Sam Rockwell, but he just... he was also a bit underused at the same time. I mean, he had some great moments, but it just seemed like he was just kind of walking through the movie at times. So overall, the cast was consistent in what was given to them, but this could have been a way better movie. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to the Avengers, and I hope that could be pulled off brilliantly. If not brilliantly, then at least better than Iron Man 2. So I liked it. It's worth seeing, and I recommend it. It's good. I give it a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. This is Brian Morancourt Jensen, signing off.